So, welcome back to the Soul Confetti podcast. I'm your host, Carrie Myers. And today I was listening to at Travis Mayo Official on YouTube. And he was comparing what is going on in the world today with fear and pleasure. Now, everybody knows 1984 and how technology is going to play out and the government's going to be watching over us. I think it's already happening. And if you have listened to anything or know anything about me, you know that I am a big believer that our world is inundated with fear on purpose. And that fear is meant to divide us and keep us small and keep us unmotivated, keep us manipulated. So the powers that be, however you see the powers that be, get to have their way, right? The world is their playground, while the rest of us are just robotically doing what they want us to do because we have this underlying foundation of fear. Now, Travis, on the other hand, suggests now I have not read Brave New World, but he suggests that in the book Brave New World, that pleasure is going to be the demise of humanity. And wow, did that light me up because I've done a talk on pleasure, and I think often many of us do not enjoy pleasurable things like play and slowing down, sitting in nature, sitting by a waterfall, taking those long hot baths and deep breaths, um, laughter as a pleasure. But I think he gave it a little twist for me, and I'm like, he might be onto something here. So pleasure, pleasure is a big thing nowadays. Pleasure is a place where we are comfortable. And a lot of people do not put forth physical effort and physical stress on their bodies, and they are in front of the TV. They are being entertained all the time. Our cell phones entertain us. Our computers entertain us. Our TVs, of course, entertain us, and we have access to it 24/7, no matter where we are. There are very few places in this world that does not have Wi-Fi, and we actually have entertainment wherever we go. Is it entertainment or is it distraction? Either way, it really hones into a pleasure point in ourselves, in our minds, in our bodies. And as I witness the world doing what the world is doing right now, I do witness a lot of people not wanting to work, a lot of people sluggish, a lot of people lazy, a lot of people unmotivated to live a hardworking, joyful, and fulfilling life. Is it fear that keeps us distracted in pleasure? Is it entitlement? Is it something that is deeper than that we are missing? But it really got me thinking. He really got me thinking about what it is in our world. Now, I will stand on the hill that it is fear, that fear keeps us small. Everything you hear in the news is about fear, right? If it's racism or fascism or school shootings or something happening on a train or murders, or it's all fear. It is all fear based, and it is sensationalized to keep us in fear, to keep us in drama. So you can't take your eyes off the train wreck that's happening, or you're, driving by a car wreck and you have to see what happened, or you have to see what is happening. I'm struggling with this. Like I can see it clearly, but I'm struggling to explain how I'm feeling about it because I think we seek pleasure as opposed to seeking fulfillment. And it's easy to be distracted and to maintain that level of fulfillment if you have to stop being in pleasure to be fulfilled. I was raised to work hard and to have gratitude for what I achieve because I earned it. That's how I was raised, as a privilege. You earn a privilege. You weren't just handed a privilege, or you weren't just privileged. I think that word has lost a lot of its meaning too. The fear was that if you didn't work hard, you didn't achieve and you would be left behind. You would not have a car. For me, it was I worked hard when I got my first job when I was like 15. I'd babysat many years prior to that, and my family was not wealthy. So if I wanted something, I worked hard for it, and my fulfillment, my payoff for that was not only like buying my first car or buying my own pair of jeans or buying my tennis shoes. It was a necessity for me to do that because my parents didn't have the money, but it was also I did that. I achieved that. The grades I got in school not only did it earn me pleasure because my parents were proud of me, but it also made me proud of myself and made me fulfilled. So if we're so distracted and inundated with pleasure, maybe like laying on the beach or by the pool and hanging out instead of getting that summer job, then where's your fulfillment? Because you're just in pleasure and you're not making a life, you're not earning something, you're not being proud of yourself. And where that fear seeps in is the fear of not achieving, of not making your family proud of you or not making yourself proud of you and or not caring. There's a lot of that too. Apathy. Apathy is apathy is a huge thing in this world. And just think about all the videos that we've seen of people who like these crazy fights and brawls and whatever's going on, and people are videotaping instead of helping somebody. There's your entertainment. Do you get pleasure from videotaping somebody that's fighting or brawling and rioting instead of either removing yourself from that situation and calling 911, or you're thinking more about how you're going to get views and likes and comments on your social media. Now, that's a real problem if you ask me. I know this is like all of my podcasts are just like going to spiral into many different directions, but we have to ask ourselves where that balance is. A little fear is going to be good for you because it's going to keep you safe. But instead of fear, we need discernment. And instead of constant pleasure, because I believe in pleasure, everybody needs pleasure to balance out stress and chaos in their life. But where's the balance in the hard work and the fulfillment? And where do we meet those things in the middle and find joy and peace and love in our lives? Uh, I don't know. My brain is spiraling in a lot of different directions here. But he really made me think about what it is that is truly going on in our world and how we are constantly being controlled, manipulated, kept small, uh, kept in our little boxes. And I know you will never make me doubt that fear is the primary way of doing this. But pleasure, pleasure. I mean, think about drug use and alcohol. It's an escape, and it's looking for a moment of pleasure where you cannot look within yourself and deal with your problems. Many of the times, not all the time, not all the time by any means, but I would I would guess a good majority of people who do drugs or become alcoholics, if it's not genetic, it is escapism, seeking pleasure where you can't find pleasure and peace within yourself because of something that's gone on in your life. So, where's our responsibility also to heal that, to heal the pain, to heal the pleasure? Well, not heal the pleasure, but heal that need almost to mask our pain and to avoid going through pain. Pain pushes us to grow. Pain pushes us to look within, but you have to be willing to. So you can mask it, you can wallow, you can be angry, you can be fearful, you can seek pleasure, or you can deal with your problems and then live in a nice, even place of peace and joy and love and fulfillment. Anytime, anytime there's an issue, you have to be willing to work through it to grow and become a better person. That's the premise of this podcast in the first place is, soul confetti. We're celebrating those life lessons where we have gone through traumas and it's okay to sit in it for a while. But at some point you have to decide to heal. You have to decide to make yourself better, to be willing to ask yourself the hard questions, to journal about it, to talk about it, to take a run about it, whatever it is that helps you move those emotions through you, to ask yourself those deep questions and seek healing and answers. And there's fear in that too. There's fear in not healing because it takes a lot to look at yourself in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back at you. So I want you to think about this and I would love to hear your comments and how you think the world is moving in fear and pleasure and how those two have come to be so out of balance that our world is spiraling in this whirlwind or tornado of discord and anger and division and self-loathing. Because truly, when you love yourself and you find that balance within yourself, you find it easier to love others. So, wow, I mean, I probably could talk for hours about this if I had somebody to bounce information off of and opinions off of. Um, yeah, he gave me a lot to think about. Maybe I'll put his link underneath the podcast. I will. I'll put the link to his YouTube video that spiraled me off in this direction, in the show notes of the podcast. And I want to ask you too, as you finish listening today, if you'll leave me a comment about where you are on the spectrum of fear and pleasure, if it is even a spectrum. Uh, do you lean more in fear? Do you live from that place of fear? Or do you live from more that place of pleasure? And that's your distraction. Um, that's your foundation of not confronting things in your life. Think about it. We all do it. We all have the ebbs and flows, highs and lows of pleasure and pain. And I believe that we have to seek balance in those. We have to seek healing within that spectrum so we can learn to grow and be more connected to ourselves and more connected to others and stop fighting and avoiding and being distracted with either fear and anger or pain or pleasure. We got to find that balance, the balance to where we can respond instead of react, and that balance where we get to be in pleasure without being distracted and without being avoidant of the pain that takes hard work. That's a lot of deep thought. And Yeah, I just can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. So I will post those show notes. I will post his link in the show notes. And so you can hear what he has to say. And then I'm going to try to find the book. What did he say? The Brave New World. I might have it. And I need to read that one. I've read 1984 years and years ago, and it was so profound that it stuck in my head. And yeah, I'll never forget that book. But yeah, A Brave New World and how we can we should have a book club around both of those and see how both of those books play out and how they're playing out in our world today. All right. Let me know if you want a book club because I'm definitely willing to host a book club on Zoom and we can discuss both those books. All right. Until next time, find your balance between fear and pleasure. Ask yourself the hard questions. If you have something to heal inside of you that you're distracted either by using fear or pleasure, let me know because this has got my thoughts going in many different directions. All right. Until next time, thank you for joining the Soul Confetti podcast. Thank you for your time. And as always, go love yourself.